Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here, and welcome to another edition of Late Night with the Davey. Yeah, this is episode 93, guys. Can you imagine that in another 7 episodes of Late Night with the Davey, it'll be 100 episodes? This is a little idea that I had, gosh, probably right around this time 2 years ago. Maybe a little bit later in March or early April, because Late Night with the Devil, I love that movie, and I was like, ooh, Late Night with the Davey. I can do that. I could do a late night show in the middle of the week, because then that way I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. I'm not trying to do some sort of weekend thing and compete with the big dogs and all that, because it's very difficult. Those guys are all really good at what they do and all that. So yeah, we just decided let's fill in this Wednesday evening spot. Every now and then I do a before dark that's kind of a nighttime for our folks across the pond. So super fun. I love doing this show with you guys and hanging out with y'all. And yeah, we're going to do something really big for the 100th episode. So keep an eye out. But thank you so much for joining me. It is Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, just about 15 minutes after the hour. Guys, if you're hanging out with us, whether you're watching live or maybe you're watching after the fact, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. If you're able to hype the video and you dig this kind of content, feel free to do so. I mean, you guys play such a big part in growing this community, getting new eyes on the channel, all that stuff. So thank you so much for everything you guys do already, all the free stuff. You know, liking, subscribing, all that stuff. And a big thanks to the people that are Patreon members, YouTube channel members. Extra shout out to our Death Squad mods that keep everything clean in here as well. You guys are all awesome. We are here today to celebrate and talk about, discuss all that stuff, 1986 horror films, because man, it was a pretty rockin' year. I mean, you've got, I would say at least like 5 of these movies are bona fide classics. You know, like classics above, like there are so many movies to enjoy. There's easily over a dozen movies here on this list of 1986 horror films that are pretty damn fun and well worth watching and all that stuff, and probably well worth revisiting. And there's some here that I haven't seen that are, you know, in that classic kind of conversation. But I'm really excited to talk to you guys about all this. Well, we can kind of just go through movie by movie. You guys can just sort of throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. What I'm going to do, you know, a lot of times we just have like an open discussion and all that stuff. People might, you know, ask questions that are kind of off topic or whatever. Don't be offended if I glaze over something or don't address something that's totally off topic. We just want to make sure, you know, people that revisit the stream, all that stuff, when we get like replays and all that, you know, we're going to be talking 1986 horror movies. So if there is something that you really want me to answer, it's totally off topic, I will say, the one way to get me to answer it would be to send in a super chat. Super chats aren't required. They're fun. We have a good time with it. Last night on the Hit the Brick stream, I started a super chat goal and you guys were able to reach that goal. Shout out to Jigsaw and everyone else that threw some money in the pot there. You guys are going to get a bonus late night stream this week as a result. And tonight, if we reach our goal, then I'll just keep on talking. You know, probably go like an hour and a half or something like that. If you guys want some added time on that, then just let me know by throwing some super chats. So no big deal. We're still going to have a blast. We're still going to talk about these movies that we love. And let's see if there's anyone else that can come close to the Jamie Hart Award just for tonight's stream. How many of these did you see? How many of them did you see in the theater? All that good stuff. I'm going to say what's up to you guys in the chat, and then we'll get cruising. And I think I've got the aesthetic, like it's kind of on lock right now, guys, with the neon 80s kind of vibe. What do you think? Even my clothes are kind of like fitting the vibe. I don't know. I feel pretty good. So let's say what's up to you guys and get rolling. Oh, and before I say hello to everybody, I've got a poll in the chat as well, as I'm sure you saw. I know, guys, I can only pick 4 entries. They don't let me do 5. They don't let me do 6, 7, anything like that. So I threw out 4 films that I thought was like a good mix of different sort of pockets of the fandom. Which 1986 film is best? And we've got, you know, Cronenberg's The Fly there. We have James Cameron's Aliens. I can't remember who directed Night of the Creeps or The Hitcher, but we've got those as well. I'm just curious to know what you guys think. We have over 20 votes and Aliens is killing it. Not surprised. I thought The Hitcher, I was like, that's the dark horse. But if I had to pick one out of these, no shade against Aliens, I have a lot of fun with it. I really love The Fly. It's like a Greek tragedy. I'm not saying the practical effects are better than Aliens. They're just like more grotesque and just kind of, I don't know. I like the nightmarish like body horror of The Fly. So anyways, I'm not trying to influence your votes or anything like that. Just wanted to let you guys know you can participate in that poll. And yeah, here we are, 6.5 minutes in. I'm finally going to say hello to everybody. We got Antonis Andriotis, one of our great channel members. What's happening, Antonis? So good to see you. Lamontre Gillard, another one of our great channel members, hanging out. How are you doing, Lamontre? We got Adrian James. Yo, Adrian. How you doing? As Brett Mann would say. We got Lizzie with a Y. What's happening, Lizzie? Another one of our great channel members. How about it? We got Sean G saying Dawn of the Davey. Yes, my Dawn of the Dead hat. And I'm like, how many people know that's a movie? And how many people think that I just am trying to celebrate dead shit? I don't know. It's between... I've got a Halloween hat that I really love. I've got my Dawn of the Dead. I think those are my only two horror hats. Oh, wait, I do have a Halloween Portal. The people from the Halloween Portal sent me some stuff because I covered the video game. Super sweet. They sent me a shirt and a hat. Really awesome. Other than that, a bunch of Yankees hats, some Redskins hats, stuff like that too. I got a Caps hat as well. I'm a Washington Capitals fan. Anyway, Sean, thank you so much for being a channel member. Really appreciate you. We got Linda in the house. What's happening, Linda? So good to see you. Another one of our amazing channel members. Guys, the membership has just been growing and been really awesome and really fun to see that happen. It feels like we're kind of we're at the dawn of a new era here with the Davey Deathray channel. It's like they say in They Live, fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone. We have hope for what the future can become, or whatever they say, something like that. And really the only reason why I know that They Live snippet as well as I do is because it plays at the beginning of a Good Riddance record. Good Riddance is a hardcore / pop punk band from Santa Cruz, California that I listen to a lot. They were on Fat Records, really like their shit. And actually Russ Rankin, their singer, scout for the New Jersey Devils. I don't know if he still is, but at some point he was a scout. Imagine that, punk singer, scout for the New Jersey Devils. Wild stuff. Anyways, Linda, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a channel member as well. Let's see who else we got going. Hopefully I'm not missing anyone. We got the lovely Miss Jamie Hart, our original Death Squad mod and one of our great channel members. Hopefully you're doing well here, Jamie. I know you've got to be pumped to talk about 1986 because I know you're a huge fan of some of the movies here on this list. So, and I know I would imagine you have really good memories of seeing a lot of these in the theater as well, Jamie. It's like that perfect time, right? Mid 80s was that the best time for you as far as like movie watching went? I would imagine. I mean, like fucking Chopping Mall is on this list. The original Witchboard, the friggin' Wraith with Charlie Sheen, which I think it's weird. It's like a sci-fi supernatural thriller, but it's got some horror elements. I recommend that one. Let's see here. We got Nanette hanging out. How are you doing, Nanette? Welcome on in. Nanette, even though this account doesn't have a channel membership, I'm still going to say Nanette is a channel member. So thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. All right. We got Carrie Crave Cinema, another one of our great channel members. What's happening, Carrie? So good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. We got Steph. Miss Skittles here says, yes, bring on the 80s. Oh, yeah. We're going to have some fun with it, guys. I got so much nostalgia for the 80s. Even though I was just a little kid, I was born in 82. I remember so much of it because I have 4 older siblings. So there's just, I was saturated with a lot more like media than maybe I would have been in a different kind of, setting. So for whatever reason, I have a lot of memories of the 80s, even though, I was pretty young for most of them. Pretty damn young. We got Wilkie's Movies and Music. What's happening, Corey? Welcome on in, bud. I hope you are doing well. We got Paula Fitzhenry. What's happening, Paula? Yeah, Aliens far better than the first. Randy, Scream 2. I like Randy and Scream 2. I'm not sure how they tie into... Oh, yeah, Aliens. He says that in Scream 2. That's how it ties in. Paula, you're throwing out all the... You're connecting it all, right? We're still, guys, we are still in the Scream haze, aren't we? We are, it doesn't take much for us to think of this franchise these days now, does it? But a very good point there. Yeah. All that sequel talk in Scream 2. I actually really liked that element of Scream 2. I think those earlier movies, it was easier for them to naturally work in like the meta stuff. And then it just gets kind of tougher, the further down the line you go. Let's see who else we got here. We got Christine hanging out. What's happening, Christine? So good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And who else do we have in here? I might be all caught up. We got Slasher Fred, who says, I think that what makes The Fly remake such a very classic movie is that while it was directed by David Cronenberg, it was also one of the very serious movies that Mel Brooks had worked on. Yes, Mel Brooks, you know, I don't know if he like worked on, but Mel Brooks is a producer on David Cronenberg's The Fly, his production company. So it was a company that he was partnered with, helped finance the movie. So I don't know if there was any direct involvement. I would be so curious to know if he was, you know, if he ever stepped foot on set. But it's very cool when people, you know, have that influence and have that, you know, they're able to financially support projects that they wouldn't really tackle themselves. But, you know, Mel could very well be, I'm sure he's a fan of every kind of film, you know, at least, you know, depending on what the film is. But very cool that, you know, Mel Brooks had worked on that as a producer. Yeah, that's a great piece of horror trivia, Slasher Fred. I really like that piece of trivia. Let's see here. What else do we got going? We got Joe from Media Poop Shoot hanging out. What's happening? Joe says, I love The Fly, but I know Aliens is a classic and I have yet to see it. It is really good, Joe. It's a totally different vibe from the first Alien movie. It is much more commercial and much more, you know, mainstream kind of feel and a sci-fi kind of feel. But yeah, it's really good. I prefer the original Alien because I do like that more gritty kind of thing. It's just, I love James Cameron. He's really great at making movies and everything, but even when he did, you know, he does the first two Terminators, or he did the first two Terminators, I still prefer the first one over T2 because I like the gritty, kind of darker feel. But no, nothing against T2. It's fucking amazing. So yeah, Aliens is really good. I would pick The Fly though. I would. I love the tragedy of it all. It is a heartbreak of a story. And we'll get into it. I want to make sure I'm saying hi to everybody, and then we'll start talking about all these. How about that? We got Jigsaw dropping a $5 super chat. Says, here we go one more time. Everybody's feeling fine. I just made up my own melody. I don't know what you were referencing there. So there we go. Oh, thank you. Fred Decker directed it. That's terrible that I forgot that. Yeah, Fred Decker wrote, you know, I don't think did he direct Monster Squad as well? I think he wrote Monster Squad. He's got some really good writing credits, and with Night of the Creeps, a really good directing credit. Yeah. He would later direct the Monster Squad. Okay, thank you, Slasher Fred. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, Monster Squad, amazing. I prefer Monster Squad to Night of the Creeps, but Night of the Creeps is such a great love letter. We'll talk about all that. All right. H-Roll Campbell says the Hitcher wins. I know there is a little corner of horror fandom that, man, the Hitcher is like a top tier thriller horror for them. I've only seen the original once and I've never seen the remake. Actually, no, I've seen the original twice. I reviewed it, and so I watched it twice when I reviewed it. Yeah. Can you buy 2 times? You mean like a membership? I think so, as long as your login has all that payment information. I really don't know, but yeah, you don't have to worry about doing that. You can just if you want to throw out like a super chat or something, that works too. Yes. Harry Potter troll the movie. Yes. Troll spray away. Yeah. Jigsaw chiming in, one of our great channel members, after dropping that $5. When Harry Potter is the name of the dad in the original Troll. I think that's why Harry Potter is being talked about here. We got Matt Facci from Facci Cinema in the house, one of our great Death Squad mods. Says, what's going on, my sexy stud muffin? Nothing much, man. Just living that 80s kind of vibe life right now. I feel like I'm ripping off Mel from My Killer Podcast with my, color scheme here. But admittedly, it is a very 80s color scheme. I suppose Garrett from Born to Be Rad, very similar vibe as well. There's only like 4 colors that you can pick that absolutely scream 80s. I've picked 2 of them here, and there's probably a neon green and like a hot kind of red or something like that you could use as well. Okay, I think I've said hello to everybody. I'm just going to make sure. And guys, if you have any remarks about these movies that we all love and everything, and I've missed it, please feel free to put it, in the chat again. We're not going to harp on you for putting it in the chat. I just like to say hello to everyone before we really dive in. Wayne Gotkey jumping in. What's happening, Wayne? Welcome on in. Says, I would say Aliens was the one sequel that kind of changed the genre from horror to action. It definitely did. Yeah, there's something about Cameron, just finding that pop sensibility, right? He got so good at honing that in, doing it with Ridley Scott's work, and then doing it, with Terminator 2 just a handful of years later from his own work. Jamie saw Troll in the theater. There we go. I don't think I've seen the entire first Troll movie. I think I've seen like halfway through. Of course, I've seen Troll 2. That's a whole different ball of wax and a whole different anniversary year for sure. Nanette dropping a $2 super chat, says another hour, Davey. Well, thank you so much, Nanette. I think we're 2/3 of the way there already. Red Darkside jumping on in, says didn't care for the remake. The remake of which one? Of what now? The Fly? Maybe The Fly. Little Shop of Horrors, we're going to talk about that one. Welcome on in, Billy Judd. How are you doing? I don't dislike Harry Potter. No, I don't. I'm not like, Harry Potter. But there are a few of those movies I think are really good. Like Goblet of Fire, Half-Blood Prince, I think is the best one in the trilogy. Those two like really stand out to me quite a bit. Prisoner of Azkaban has got like a really cool look and style to it. I think they're just, I think they're good. I'm not like a wild fan though, We got Nicholas Woodall in the house. What's happening, Nicholas? So good to see ya. And we got Ben Grimm, one of our great channel members. What's happening, Ben? Julie Louis-Dreyfus was so hot in Troll. See, I don't even remember her from that. So that's how little of that movie I saw. The Hitcher. Yeah, I'd probably just give that one a miss. Nothing against Sean Bean. I just really like how dirty and gritty the original is. And I think I'm okay with that, The original Hitcher, let's just kick off with that. How about that? We'll start with the Hitcher. Since that's just kind of where we're ending out. Let me find it here. Where did it go? There we are, the Hitcher. Okay. So Rutger Hauer, C. Thomas Howell. Is it Jennifer Jason Leigh, I believe? Yeah, this is a movie, guys, I just saw for the first time like a little over 2 years ago. Like seriously, a little over 2 years ago. I think it was like January of 2024. So, it kind of felt like, this is like a Twilight Zone episode or like sort of an episodic, it just feels very episodic. You're joining these characters in the middle of an adventure. The Hitcher's been doing God knows what, a whole bunch of terrible shit. And then you've got, I can't remember C. Thomas Howell's character name. Somebody will let me know. Traveling across the country, right? I believe he's delivering a car to somebody from, middle America out to California. And he picks up this hitchhiker that's clearly lost his shit and already been on a killing spree. And it just turns into this sort of, the Hitcher, Rutger Hauer, the way he plays him is like, he's definitely playing with his food. He's toying with him. He's trying to see if he can get a rise out of C. Thomas Howell's character. Can he make him like actually, be a man? I think is sort of like the vibe I'm getting. Other people have talked about like homosexual undertones. I suppose you could see that. I'm not going to say like you're wrong if you see that. I see it as like a rite of passage kind of thing. Although sure, like there's definitely some, tension-filled chemistry between the two leads here. But yeah, this movie is like incredibly intense and brutal and nightmarish. Has a small cast, but it's very effective. I just sort of get like a Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone sort of episode kind of feel, stretched out over a film, but it doesn't feel like it's not enough for a film. It feels like we really get a cool, like isolated, gritty, kind of grindhousey feeling story. So, I'm not going to act like I've been a Hitcher fan for all these years, but I really enjoyed it. I totally get why people really dig this movie. And I'm not going to glom onto their fandom, but holy cow, it's inspiring to see how excited people were when The Hitcher finally got a cleaned up 4K and everything like that. Because it was one of those movies that just never had a good transfer, all that stuff. I'm not the hugest physical media guy as far as like I need. But it's so awesome to see these movies get cleaned up and be presented in the way that they probably looked in the theater when they were released. So I love all that stuff. So I'm going to jump in and see what you guys are saying. Who knows? I guess maybe we'll sort of do this. We can go through the movies. I can say my piece and we can see what you guys are saying. How about that? That's another one. TerrorVision is on the list. I've never seen it. So the ones that I listed, guys, are movies that I've seen with the exception of maybe one or two. But of course, yes, we're We're celebrating all of them. I have the Wikipedia page pulled up so I can, we can do a double check if we run a little dry. If we reach that super chat goal and we're going to go another hour and we need more movies to talk about, I've got that page pulled up. We got Zach jumping on in. What's happening, Zach? Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Your biological stepdad, Uncle Rob, hanging out with us. What's happening, bio stepdad, Uncle Rob? You're kicking it with the Death Squad, man. Welcome on in. I think this is the first time you've been hanging out with us, so hope you dig the vibe here. The people in the chat are just so amazing. We have a really cool little corner of horror YouTube here that I love hanging out with these people. So if you like, talking about horror movies and just, talking about movies in general, this is a good place to be, man. Welcome on in. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Jamie says The Hitcher was so good on the big screen. It must have been crazy. And I have not seen the good transfer. So that's when I think about that, I'm like, oh, it must have looked so much better. It's a really like the versions that existed before were like a 4:3 ratio. It's almost like it was something that was taken off television and put on DVDs and stuff. And it was really dark and really, it's like, I still haven't seen it in full widescreen, all clean and bright the way that you were able to see it, Jamie. So, yeah, I'd imagine that theater experience was pretty tense. The movie's got a really uneasy vibe for sure. Speaking of uneasy vibe, I watched Pet Sematary the other night for the very first time. Oh my God, the feeling of unease during that movie. I got about 10 minutes in and I was like, I don't know if I can watch this by myself. Not because I was scared. I was just like, I know what's coming, at least as far as the cat and Gage. Like I knew that was coming and it put a pit in my stomach. Little did I know that there's so much other supernatural stuff going on in Pet Sematary that's connected to those two characters. And I know this is an 89 movie and I said we weren't going to talk off topic. I just have to say, there's some really layered, complex storytelling and tales of morality that are. I just thought, man, Pet Sematary had a lot more flavors going on than I thought it would. So I'll end it at that. Yeah, Rutger Hauer was incredible, dude. I think one of my favorites. His presence is so good. I mean, nothing against everyone else in Blade Runner. Like, I love Harrison Ford as an actor. Sean, what's her face? I don't know why I can't remember her name. The hottie that was in Ace Ventura, Sean, whatever her face is. They're great and everything, but dude, that movie is made because of Rutger Hauer's performance. For me, I mean, it's a gorgeous looking film, of course, but as far as performances go, like Rutger Hauer really brings like the tragedy and like brings some weight to that movie. Yeah. Lizzie with a Y drops a $4.99 super chat and says throws dollar bills on stage. There we go. Oh yeah. Do a little dance for Lizzie. No, I don't do that shit. I don't do that. Not publicly anyway. Slasher Fred says what makes Jason Lives such a great sequel is that it is where the Friday the 13th series started to become a monster movie. It is the beginning of zombie Jason, or I guess you could call him Revenant Jason, because he really is coming back from the dead at that point. He's no longer a human, or an alive human. He's something beyond that once Jason Lives hits. And there's so many things about it. We're going to talk about that one, Slasher Fred. And I don't know if you know this, Fred. That is my favorite movie in the Friday the 13th franchise, and it's not even close. So I think there's so much about that movie to celebrate. We will talk about it tonight. Absolutely. Jim Halsey and John Ryder, thank you so much, G. I know, very unprofessional of me to just say this actor's character, but there we go. Jim Halsey is C. Thomas Howell. John Ryder, ironically enough, is the hitchhiker, has a last name like Ryder. That's great. That's awesome. We got Prince jumping in, says, I have my imaginary notebook in my head. Bring it. There you go. Prince is just getting into horror. And I thought Prince was into horror this whole time because he's been hanging out here. Prince, you've been hanging out for a couple years at least, I think. So I always thought you were into horror. Now I'm starting to think, well, why would he want to hang out? Like, it's the people. It's you guys in the chat. That's what it is. Red Darkside says the plots of The Hitcher just great. Friend the boy, unfriends him, help him out, tries to kill him. It was a good, intense film. The original rules. Yeah, I mean, he's playing with him the whole time. And what he does, to Jennifer Jason Leigh's character. I don't know if there's an unrated cut of that. I think that even though I don't need to see the full extent of it, I do think that that moment would hit even more if we just saw a little bit of some on-screen, destruction, some damage there. We got Sean G dropping $5 Canadian. Says, have to support the G Unit. G Unit. There we go. Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate you, man. You guys are awesome. Hanging out, being groovy. Feeling groovy. Right? Something like that. All right, guys. What's the next movie we're going to talk about? Well, maybe it's going to be the super chat from Jigsaw. $2 from Jiggy. Says, show me the money. Thank you so much, Jigsaw. Nanette dropping another $2. What are my thoughts on Stand By Me? Okay, so here we go. Nanette has, she's following the rules, right? She wants to talk about Stand By Me, as far as I know. It's not a horror movie from 1986, even if it is a movie from that year. But she dropped a little super chat, so let's have a little chat about it. Thank you so much, Nanette. I think Stand By Me is pretty damn good. I watched it as a kid quite a bit. When you're a little kid, you don't know that it's a Stephen King story because you just relate Stephen King to all the spooky stuff you're seeing, like, the Pet Sematary commercials. I actually used to always see those infomercials in the middle of the night that were like selling the Stephen King collection, and it would show all these clips from Pet Sematary. Well, now I know that because I finally saw the movie. And then there'd be like a Dianetics commercial after. But yeah, didn't know any of that stuff as a kid. Just really enjoyed the story. And of course, seeing River Phoenix and Corey Feldman and all that, even as a kid, I was very aware of their stardom and everything like that. And who else? There's Will Wheaton. I really didn't know about Will Wheaton until later on because I was, never even really a Trekkie guy. So it was later on that I found out about that. But yeah, love that movie. The leech scene scarred me for life, made me afraid to go in the water. That's for sure. A really great, coming of age story. And well written. It's great to see, just proof that King has got talent beyond, what he's primarily known for, which now we all know that he's, pretty diverse as far as writing goes. All right. We are over halfway there. Hell yeah. Remember seeing Pet Sematary in the theater, freaked me out. Yeah, it's funny. I was telling the story, or I told my parents oh yeah, I finally watched Pet Sematary, and I was like, I don't know if you guys remember, but my oldest brother Matt, he was probably about, I don't know what month it came out, so he's probably 16 technically when that movie came out. Maybe 17 if it came out in December. Anyway. My brother Matt went and saw that movie when we lived in Juneau, and I remember as a kid, I was 7 years old, and he came home from the theater and he was telling my mom and me about the movie, and I just remember hearing him describe scenes and everything. So I've got this history with that theatrical release of Pet Sematary, but just saw it for the very first time. It's crazy. Let's see here. It was the original, and I saw the sequel on HBO when I was a kid. It's been since then, so I don't really remember much about the sequel, but I remember the scarf and the motorcycle kill. That thing's hardcore. Yeah, Zelda was pretty freaky. So with Zelda, I didn't anticipate that Zelda was going to be connected to the wife. I really didn't anticipate half of the supernatural side of Pet Sematary. I knew the supernatural side of the burial ground, and that was it. I didn't know that there was going to be spirits kind of haunting them and following them and warning them. I feel like one of the underlying messages of Pet Sematary is if you try to cheat death or mock death, that death finds a way to punish you, is sort of the feeling I got, because the wife mocked death when she wanted her sister to die, and she laughed when her sister did die. So she's guilty of mocking it. And the doctor is kind of guilty of mocking and cheating as a doctor, right? You can sort of cheat death, saving people's lives and stuff. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but yeah, Zelda was fucking freaky. Okay, let's, hey, there we go. We got Dave Vanderhoff in the house. What's happening, Dave? So good to see you guys. Dave made this really cool tombstone behind me. I'm always going to mention it when he jumps in the chat. He makes those for a whole bunch of content creators, and it's very thoughtful. It is gorgeous. There's actually a video where I do an unboxing. If you really want to see it up close and everything, really, really cool that he did it. And yeah, it's just a nice little custom thing that I'll always have with me. Okay, let's jump into a little bit of another movie talk here. Shit, we got Jigsaw dropping a $5, says there's a party here in the Death Squad. Pour the drinks, bring the noise. Oh yeah. And Nanette dropping another 2, says, what are my thoughts on Maximum Overdrive? So Maximum Overdrive is an interesting one. It's one of these movies that it's like, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I don't think I've ever sat down and seen the whole movie, because it's where the cars become sentient, the vehicles become sentient, and basically turn humans into slaves. Am I correct in that very simple kind of synopsis there? I think I'm correct, but I don't think I've seen the whole thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think Stephen King directed that one, of course, based on, I think, one of his own short stories. Great iconography, you know, like the Green Goblin truck and everything. I think Emilio, especially back in this time, like Repo Man, Maximum Overdrive, like I think there was something really gritty, and I'm using that word a lot. I'll say it a different way. There's something really raw and like punk rock about Emilio's performances. I feel like he's got some really fun reckless abandon, you know, in those more youthful performances of his. But I can't sit here and say that I don't think I've seen the whole movie, Nanette. I got to add that to my list because, guys, this year in 2026, I'm trying to watch 365 movies I've never seen before. So I need to add Maximum Overdrive to the list. It is a 1986 film. It's celebrating 40 years, and it's got that, maybe the trailer with Stephen King all coked up with the Halloween 3 soundtrack. By the way, that's the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch score in the background there by Alan Howarth and John Carpenter. That trailer is like more famous than the movie because he is just coked out, and it's just this really bizarre, like, you know, come join me for this crazy ride, like wild-eyed, coked out Stephen King. It's very funny. Thank you so much for the 2, Nanette. I really do appreciate you. And I want to make sure I'm not missing any other super chats, and then we'll pick on another movie. How about that? Antonis Andriotis dropping a $5 super chat, says, I love your thumbnail photo. TCM, I love that movie. It's my favorite in the franchise. So, Antonis, you're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986? Let's talk about it. How about it? Let's have a little chat. I'm just going to sort of go with the flow, guys, and just sort of, you know, we're going to go on a feeling here. I don't have anything really structured. I have a bunch of these movies listed out, but you know how the hangouts go. So, we're just going to, this seems like a really good time to pivot, because Antonis is dropping a $5 and he wants to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So let me bring that one up here. I believe I've got it. Here we go. Antonis, thank you again for being a channel member and for the super chat as well, man. Really do appreciate you. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Guys, this is one of those movies. Man, I wanted to like this movie more than I did. And I'll tell you a few reasons why. Number one, I knew going into it that it was a wild, like, zany, over-the-top, tongue-in-cheek approach to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre property, right? I knew that Tobe Hooper did it. So that's another thing, too. Like, it's the same guy. He wanted to do something different. I can respect the hell out of that. I think that, like, right there, I'm going to celebrate that he didn't just try to do a direct follow-up or capture that same spirit from the original. I like that he just kind of did something totally different, comic booky and pulpy, you know, talk about Tales from the Crypt. It really does have that fun EC Comics kind of feel. However, it's a really noisy movie. A lot of like screaming and laughing and chainsaws. And I know the original is too. I think there's something about the more grounded, creepy, 16 millimeter look of the original that just gives me a different vibe overall. And I'm not saying I don't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I just know that it didn't hit me the way that I know it hits a lot of people. But I need to see it again. I think I've only seen it twice, and it's been a while, so maybe I need to give it another shot. I'm very much a rewatcher. And the way I feel about movies, or when I like listen to music, the way I feel about it can change over time. Like I always use the example of, there's a couple examples I use. When I was a kid and Bad Religion put out The Gray Race. I don't know if you're, a punk rock fan, whether or not you are, you might have heard of Bad Religion. So they put out a record called The Gray Race, And, you know, I bought it and I listened to it and I was like, okay, this is all right. I don't know if it's really grabbing me. And then I listened to it a couple more times. Like the night that I got it, I think I listened to it like 3 times, you know, read through the lyrics like the 3rd time I listened to it. And I was like, it just like clicked where I was like, oh my God, this is really good. Like I wasn't sure. And then I was like, now I'm convinced. And now it's one of my favorite Bad Religion records. And then on the flip side, I used to really like Donnie Darko. And then like the 4th or 5th time I watched it, I was like, wait a minute, I don't like this. Like, I don't like this story. So to bring it all back to TCM2, I need to give it another chance. That's what I'm saying. I need to give this one another chance. There's probably something that I totally missed. I know there's joy to be found in this movie that I didn't find the first time. So could be on me. And you know what? If I revisit it again and it still doesn't hit, then fair enough, right? You know, at least I tried. I gave it another shot, all that stuff. But let me see what you guys are saying here about TCM. Oh, Jamie says it's a good time. All right. Yeah, underrated in Jamie's opinion. Okay, well, it is definitely getting put on the list for sure. Lizzie, I do see your super chat. We're gonna get to that. Repo Man is so good. Don't ever forget about Repo Man. I mean, especially like as a punk guy, like a punk fan, it is. I mean, it's one of the marquee punk rock movies I think of all time. It celebrates, you know, the culture, and I think does it in a pretty authentic way for back then. You know, having Black Flag on the soundtrack and all that stuff. And I don't know, it wasn't Minutemen that were on there. There was another, what are the other, are Dead Kennedys on there? There's a whole bunch of punk bands on there. Let's see here. What else do we got? Just seeing if you guys are talking about TCM. Holy cow, we got Eli Cortez jumping on in, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods, reminding everyone to hit that, or, oh, sorry, not hit, slash that like button and sub to this amazing channel, if I may say so myself. So there we go. Welcome on in, Eli. So great to see you, man. Always a pleasure to have Eli kicking it with us, sharing the links for other people's channels. We like to do that. We like to lift one another up here. Nanette is asking about Dead Time Stories. Nanette, that's another one I haven't seen. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I have not seen that one. I gotta add it to the list. Please feel free, guys, if you have any recommends for me, I have links to my socials in the description. You can hit me up and, you know, send me a message and let me know. That way, because I'm not going to remember from the stream. So don't be offended if I don't remember from the stream. Hit me up with a message, or Nanette, if you want to leave a comment after the stream. I've got all Maximum Overdrive's already, you know, it's already on lock here. Dead Time Stories, though, I'll need some help with that one. I will. Oh yeah, Caroline Williams is in Leprechaun 3. We are getting close to St. Paddy's Day. I think Leprechaun 3, it might be my favorite in the franchise, but it's really fun. And yeah, Caroline Williams is great in Lep 3. She's really good. I need to watch TCM 2 again, guys. I really do. I feel like a jerk that I can't speak so enthusiastically about it. You know, I can't really rip on it though. It just for whatever reason didn't hit my sensibility. And you know what's really funny is I love movies like Evil Dead 2 and Shaun of the Dead and Dead Alive. Like it is definitely not a horror comedy problem, because I think that TCM 2 could be described, you know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you could call it like a dark comedy or like a horror comedy sort of thing. There's that vibe, right? Anytime you throw Dennis Hopper in there, like in that outfit and just how over the top he is. And, you know, Bill Moseley, like I feel like he brings a lot of humor to, you know, to the roles that he plays. So, yeah, it's not that kind of issue. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the ratio of ingredients for me. It's probably on me. I'll take the blame. I'll take the credit. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to say about TCM, I'll find it here in a sec. I just know I'm already falling behind on super chats, and I feel bad because you guys are amazing for being so gracious with your hard-earned money and supporting the channel. So I feel bad for missing out on those. Lizzie with a Y drops a $4.99 super chat and says, Poltergeist 2 used real skeletons in the pool scene, which is punk as fuck. And I think it was maybe Poltergeist 2 did it as well, but I think they did it in the first one. I don't know if somebody chimed in and said that. I could be, okay, there we go. Jamie says that was in the first. Yeah. So and maybe they did in the sequel, but I know they did a bunch of crazy shit. real skeletons. There was something else that happened on set or something. I don't know. Maybe that was it though. But like, yeah, they didn't tell the cast that they were real. I think they found out after the fact, but they basically were purchased from a college, you know, like a medical college or something like that. So it is punk as fuck. It's kind of fucked up to not tell your cast that you're working with real dead people or whatever you want to call it. You know, you know, maybe you want to communicate that just so they feel a little bit better about it. There's all this talk about a curse that follows Poltergeist. We don't need to get into the whole curse here. Maybe that would be a cool stream to have, as you know, maybe we could talk about that by celebrating Poltergeist 2, the other side's 40th anniversary. Just do its own stream where we talk a little bit about that curse, because you know, I don't want to get into it now because it is a bunch of sad stuff, but people have, you know, of course people have said, oh, it all happened because of the real skeletons and because of this, that, and the other thing. But I don't know if I really believe in all that kind of superstitious kind of stuff. But I mean, there's definitely some sort of connection going on there. It could be completely coincidental. But Lizzie, thank you so much for the $4.99. Really appreciate you, of course. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let's see what else. Dead Time Stories. I got to remember that one. Remind me, Nanette. Remind me. Jigsaw dropping a $5 says, for Davey and Jamie, I'll stand by you. Whatever you will do, I'll stand by you. And I'm trying to think of what song that is, and I'm terrible at trying to think of these things in the middle of a live stream, Jiggy. So maybe it's supposed to be something. Oh, are you singing Stand By Me, basically? Maybe. You guys ever heard the Pennywise version of Stand By Me? It's a fun one. That's a fun one. Best scene is on the bridge. They're calling Stretch. She's recording the college students making trouble and found the trouble. Oh, that is a really wild, awesome scene. Yeah, that's really fun. That is just like, I try to put myself like in the theater watching something like that, and just how like rock and roll that scene is. Yeah, the movie's pretty wild. Yeah, like I said, I gotta give it another shot. I think it deserves. I don't know if I gave it the fairest chance. I don't remember the circumstances. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mood. So I'll check it out again. I'll give you guys my thoughts once I revisit it for sure. Okay, let's see here. Carrie says I haven't seen PCM yet, or 2 yet, but it'll be in a watch party soon. There you go. Yeah, it is pretty zany. I think zany is like the best word to use for that one. We got Brett from Good Real Hunting joining us. What's happening, Brett? So good to see you. One of our great channel members and Death Squad mods. Welcome on in. 86 is clearly the superior year of the 80s. It's pretty damn good, you know? I mean, The Fly, Night of the Creeps, Aliens, Jason Lives. I mean, just those. And we're going to talk Little Shop of Horrors too. That's my favorite musical of all time. So we're going to get into all of it. Let me just see if we have got, if anyone else is sort of pushing us in another direction here as far as, by the way, Jigsaw, thank you so much for the $5, man. Really do appreciate your support. Does not go without notice. I hope you liked your shout out in the video that dropped earlier today. Yes, that's right. There's a video diving into Kevin Williamson's interview about the alternate ending to Scream 7 that included Stu and why they didn't use it and all that kind of stuff, my thoughts and all that. So check that out if you haven't, guys. Or if you're all Scream 7'd out, then maybe give yourself a break and check it out some other time. All right, let's see what else we are talking about here. Linda dropping a $1.99 super chat and says, can we talk Wes's deadly friend? That basketball scene. And that's like the only thing I've seen from Deadly Friend. Another 1986 horror movie that I have to see that I haven't yet. Same with like Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Haven't ever seen that one. I'm kind of worried that one's going to really get under my skin and be tough to watch. So I don't know if I'm kind of a wuss, but there are certain movies where I'm like, oh no, I know that movie's going to make me feel dirty, you know, like, but I love Michael Rooker as an actor. I think it's sounds like a fantastic premise and just really a movie that is an experience as well as a movie. So I gotta watch Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Wes's Deadly Friend. Guys, let's talk about it. What do we got? We got Christy Swanson, right? She's in that one, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We've got, what's her face? Gosh, I don't know her name. She was the mom in Goonies, and she was the mom in Throw Mama from the Train. And that's pretty much what I know, all I know her from. You know, a very, what's the right word to use? Quite homely looking woman, but what a character actor. What, I mean, she has the perfect face for the roles that she plays, and performances were very memorable. And yes, the basketball scene. That's like the one thing I know from this one, Linda. So guys, you have to tell me, for reals, Deadly Friend, is it good? Or is Deadly Friend like, oh my God, that movie's so unhinged, you have to see it just because it's like wild? Like, I don't need it to be like a high quality flick, but is it going to be a really fun movie? Because like I said, I'm trying to watch 365 movies I've never seen this year. I've never seen Deadly Friend. Should I add it to the list? You guys got to let me know. Melissa only likes one of these, and it's the Hitcher, so I'm guessing you voted for the Hitcher. How about it? And oh my gosh, guys, we reached our super chat goal. Thank you so very much, everyone that contributed. I am sort of beside myself. I'm just going to take a minute. I'm just sort of beside myself with how much support has been pouring in for the channel, and how much the community has been growing. So I know I always talk about it. I just want to take this moment to thank you guys again so very much. I hope that doing things like super chat goals and all that stuff doesn't rub anyone the wrong way. That's why I always say that it's totally optional. It's not a requirement. I'm still going to give you plenty of, free content. And if we want some more content, then that option's there. So I don't ever want anyone to feel obligated. And I always want you guys to feel appreciated for your memberships and your super chats and everything like that. So thank you so very much. It's awesome. I felt like we went through a spell where I was like, I just can't reach any of these goals. And now, for whatever reason, we're just clicking, guys. We're just clicking. You guys are liking what we're doing here, and thank you so much for the support. So we're gonna keep on rolling. You guys are gonna get a whole, we'll go at least 2 hours tonight, and we'll just kind of see where we're at that point. Fair? Does that sound fair? And Melissa, what about the rest of 1986? So obviously we know that you do like The Hitcher. Is there another, or are there maybe a few other horror films from 1986 that really do it for you? Let me know. No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. It's, you know what? It can be tough keeping all these things straight. All these little factoids and little production, notes and all that stuff. And I totally understand even more so because Poltergeist 2 is like the same cast from the original one. And it really is a continuation of that family story. So I think it's, no reason to abort the mission there. All right, I need a sip of water, guys. I'm sorry. I hate putting dead air out in the air, but here we go. So, excuse me, Jamie knows what song it is. Sorry, guys. I got a TCM2 on the brain, I guess. Yeah, it is kind of messed up that they did that, huh? Kind of a weird thing. It's I'll Stand By You by the Pretenders. Okay, there we go. You guys ever heard that song, Not in My Backyard by the Vandals? It's all about like an HOA not wanting G.E. Smith from the Saturday Night Live band joining their neighborhood, and he tries to fool them by disguising himself as the guitarist from the Pretenders. That's actually a line in the song. That is one of the catchiest Vandals songs. If you've never heard, I think it's called NIMBY. It's an acronym for Not in My Backyard. That was the Vandal song I heard where I was like, oh shit, I have to get this record. And that record is called Live Fast Diarrhea. Yeah, that's the kind of band the Vandals are. Shout out to Orange County. Orange County breeds some really fun punk rock and stuff, guys. Thank you, Nanette. I appreciate you. If you don't remind me, I am, I know it seems like I might have the best memories a lot of times, guys. But man, you'd be surprised. Stuff gets through. Stuff gets through for sure. It's like a strainer for for spaghetti. 1986 gave us Alf, says Billy Judd, which isn't horror, although I guess the last episode is kind of scary for Alf. I quite liked Alf when I was a kid. I dug that show. Okay, let's see what else we got going here. Jason Lives is awesome. All right, so here we go. You guys want to move on over to Jason Lives? Let me bring that up. There we go. I could talk about this movie all night, and I won't. We'll talk about it probably, since it's celebrating 40 years and we've got a Friday the 13th coming up in 9 days. We'll talk about Jason Lives again, and we are going to celebrate this movie this year. So mark my words, we'll celebrate it probably right around that anniversary, the actual, release date anniversary. So keep an eye out for that, guys. And we'll probably do something. I didn't do much for Friday the 13th in February. I'm going to do some stuff for this one. I knew we had 2 back-to-back, and I just was sort of like, pick one. If I were a bigger content creator, I probably would have done both. But yeah, we'll do some Friday the 13th stuff here in a week and a half. But oh my God, Jason Lives. My favorite Friday the 13th movie, easy. One of my favorite slasher movies of all time, for sure. I think it's like very, quintessential, like kind of tongue-in-cheek slasher. I think this is like the first meta slasher. And I know I'm not the first person to say that. I don't think it's that much of a hot take. And I don't say it in any way to take anything away from Wes Craven's New Nightmare or Scream, because they did it in a different way. But Jason Lives has so many meta moments. I mean, even just little in jokes like the American Express card, which I think says American Excess. All that kind of like trying to bribe Jason, the self-awareness of Tom McLaughlin's wife. I can't remember the actress's name, but when her character is like, I know I've seen enough scary movies to know that when I see a guy in a mask in the middle, wearing a mask in the middle of the woods, that you turn around, all that kind of stuff. Literally the groundskeeper at the cemetery looking at the camera and saying things like, some people have a strange sense of entertainment or whatever, like when he's talking about why would they ever try to dig up Jason, like literally just saying those things, kind of like mocking the audience. Just really fun. Also the 007 intro is a big like kind of meta thing, but it permeates throughout the the entire film, and the film just feels really fun. It's got this it's just got this loose kind of playful fun-loving quality to it, and that's what attracts me. Even though I totally get why people would say Friday the 13th Part 2, or especially Final Chapter, because I think Final Chapter is like the quintessential 80s slasher. If the aliens landed and they wanted to see like what is a slasher movie, I would show them the Final Chapter, but Jason Lives, it's the humor for me, it's the characters, it's Tommy and Megan. I love Tom Matthews. I love the chemistry that Tommy has with Megan. Megan is, she is adorable and beautiful as far as all the physical attributes go. But she is just a little firecracker, man. She's so cute. She wants to get in like good trouble. She's just, man, she's little spitfire. Love to have a girl like Megan, right? That's the kind of gal you want. When she pulls up and she's like, get in, hot lips, blah, 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 like whatever. I'm like, oh my God. I worked at a pizza place called Hot Lips for 7 years. So it cracks me up even more. And yeah, Jason Lives, we're going to talk a lot about it here, like I said, in the next week and a half or so. But if you guys have any thoughts or praise or whatever you want to say about Jason Lives, I'm going to scroll down and see what you guys are saying here. Deadly Friend is okay. Remember it feeling overrated. Gotcha. Worth watching. Even if it's just like so bad it's good, I'm kind of into that too. So definitely worth a watch, says Linda. Okay. We got David hanging out with us. What's happening, David? Welcome on in. Thank you for kicking it with us. Jigsaw gifted a channel membership. And who did that channel membership go to? All right. Jigsaw's gifted membership went to Melissa Wildcard, who is hanging out here with us in the chat. I love seeing when people that are hanging out get those gifted memberships. Thank you so very much, Jigsaw. Really appreciate you. Guys, for all the members or any of you that are brand new and you're like, oh my God, he's already talking about memberships, you can get in for as low as $1 a month. And we're doing a horror movie club. It's like a book club. We talk about the thematic elements of the films, how themes tie into, like, we just finished the Scream franchise. So how each film kind of makes its own mark and has its own themes, but then the themes that call back to other movies in the franchise, the themes that fit the entire franchise on a whole, like all that kind of stuff we were talking about. So it's a little bit of a, not so much of a regular review or just a chit chat about the movie, but kind of like a chit chat about the movie that's like driven with some focus. So if you're into that, a really fun thing we're doing for members this whole year, and I want to keep it going beyond. So yeah, just want to let you know that if you're a channel member, don't miss out. Don't miss out. Talking Star Wars has loved Manhunter. It's 1986 and the first Hannibal movie, and I think let's work that into this conversation, Talking Star Wars. And thank you so much for hanging out. Talking Star Wars and I were on a panel over on Carrie's channel just yesterday, and then Talking Star Wars got gifted a channel membership when I just did it just randomly, I picked 10 people to get them, or I don't even pick them. I just gift the memberships and it goes out randomly. So thanks for jumping on in. I think Manhunter is fucking fantastic. And I think it's close enough. Like, let's go ahead and work it in for 1986 horror, even though it's, more of a thriller. Yeah, first Hannibal Lecter movie. He plays a very small part, kind of like even smaller, I think, than Silence of the Lambs. But yeah, you've got like Tom Noonan, who recently just passed away. Rest in peace to Tom Noonan, who has put in some of the just creepiest otherworldly kind of performances I've seen. Manhunter, and then of course RoboCop 2. He's really good in RoboCop 2. Just very odd. Frankenstein and Monster Squad, we talked about that movie a little bit. That's having a 40th anniversary, I think, next year. It's crazy. And then Tom Noonan, of course, in House of the Devil. I think he's, those are the roles that stand out to me. And man, Manhunter, William Peterson, who would go on to star, on CSI, had this really gritty, cop thing going in the mid 80s, like To Live and Die in LA by, I think Michael Mann did that movie, has a very similar feel. It's almost like, it feels like it could be the same characters, like To Live and Die in LA, it feels like a sister sequel to this movie, or I think it might be before. So, they feel so similar in that vibe, because William Peterson had a really, really cool, cop vibe going on back then. He just totally different than Gil Grissom from CSI, Yeah, I think Manhunter's really good. I don't think Red Dragon's a bad movie, but I think Manhunter is so far superior. Nothing against any of the performers. I think Tom Noonan's just creepier than Ralph Fiennes. And there's something that's a little more the vulnerability of what is he called? The Tooth Fairy? Something like that. Is that what they call him in Manhunter? Ralph Fiennes, not saying that he can't be vulnerable. Ralph Fiennes is so, I remember him being a bit more in shape and maybe a bit more aggressive, whereas I felt the vulnerability more with Tom Noonan's performance in Manhunter. Also just the 80s grimy look of the film. I prefer that 80s approach to this kind of story. And Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter, obviously it is Anthony Hopkins' role. I mean, that's, as far as the film versions that we've seen, that's who we think of. But I think there's something really great there with Brian Cox's version. And he is a bigger dude. So there's something scary about him, even beyond knowing what he's capable of. It's that he's not as charming, I don't think, as Anthony Hopkins' version. He is just a bit more unsettling. Yeah, Manhunter's really good. If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend it. And if no other reason than, if you appreciated Tom Noonan's work and you haven't seen Manhunter, we just lost him, I think, mere weeks ago. So a great opportunity here to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the film and celebrate, a film that's a marquee, mention on Tom Noonan's resume. We got Mikey Son in the house. What's happening, Mikey Son? Thank you so much for joining us, man. I know I'm kind of behind on the chat. I hope everyone that joined in is still kicking it with us. You know what that means, though. If I'm behind on the chat, that means you guys are being awesome. I love just sort of emceeing the event and seeing where all of this goes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Another 86 classic. And you know what? It's got supernatural horror elements. Fuck it. It's John Carpenter. Fuck it. We're going to talk about this one. Big Trouble in Little China is one of the easiest watches. It is so much damn fun. It is, we need more movies that are just a good time for a good time's sake. And not every movie needs to like have this great point that is a lasting impact. Sometimes movies can have a lasting impact just because they're really fun and wild and take chances. I mean, Big Trouble in Little China feels almost like a video game. You know, the way it all plays out and like the discovery and the way the layers of supernatural just like build and build. Everywhere they go, it's like they're trapped in another room and have to figure out how to get out. So like video gamey, almost like Kung Fu or Game of Death. You know, the Kung Fu, the video game that was based on, you know, Game of Death. Like, you know, you're just making your way to the final boss, and it's all about the sub bosses beforehand, which Big Trouble in Little China has plenty of those. And then, I mean, fuck, dude, Kurt Russell's performance, he is so incredibly charming, not to mention handsome in this one, even with the ridiculous hair. I mean, he's got those icy blue eyes. There's just something about him. Kim Cattrall, oh my God, I've had a big old rubbery one for Kim Cattrall for a really long time, guys. Probably going back to just being a kid and not even knowing what a big rubbery one was, but Mannequin, hello. And then, of course, like later on, seeing her in Porky's. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll take some of that. I'll take some of that for sure. Yeah, she's something else. Still my favorite from Sex and the City. I don't care if she's like the oldest one or whatever. Give me whatever her name is. Is it Samantha? I don't even know. Anyways, Big Trouble in Little China. Fucking awesome. What is it? James Hong that plays Lo Pan. Oh my God, that guy is like all over the place. The bit roles that he's played, the career that this guy has had. I believe he's Tia Carrere's father in. Oh no, he's not the father in Wayne's World 2. He is. So he's in Seinfeld. He's the guy that's like Cartwright at the Chinese restaurant. Oh, he is a villain in an episode of what is it called? Oh my God, MacGyver. I'm just trying to go through like the Rolodex in my head of all these movies that this guy's popped up in. And I love him as Lo Pan. He has one of my favorite lines as Lo Pan when he's like bitching about Jack Burton trying to escape. And he's like, now this really pisses me off. Like, oh my God, so funny. Big Trouble in Little China is great. It is, man, John Carpenter and Kurt Russell and the music, the John Carpenter soundtrack. Yeah. Big Trouble in Little China is, yeah, that's up there. That's up there. Okay, I know I've been blah blahing about that for a while. To get back over to Manhunter, just assume everything I saw in '86 in the theater. Yeah, Brian Cox was a great Hannibal Lecter. Yep. I had mentioned them because of the woman from Deadly Friend that was also in Goonies. I can't remember the actress's name. I'm sorry. I know I'm terrible. Let's see here. Oh, Great Mouse Detective. I don't know that I've ever seen that movie. Vincent Price there, man. What an icon. What an icon. Alf is horror for cats. That's true. That is true. Mr. Boogedy ruined my life in 1986. I think I must have seen that on like a replay because I remember seeing something like maybe it wasn't a rerun or anything, but I was only 4? Okay. I remember it being on television on like a Saturday night and just creeping the hell out of me. But it's like I don't really remember anything about it. I just remember the feeling of being creeped out as a kid, you know? Mikey Sun says, I can't choose between The Fly and Aliens, both fantastic. I know. I gave it to The Fly because I love the body horror. And while the effects are very super impressive in Aliens, I just like how kind of gross they are in The Fly. And the tragedy of it all. It's a little bit more of a personal kind of story. I really dig that about it. But Aliens is so much fun. There's no wrong answer, really. I mean, especially if you're picking one of those two. But I don't think out of any of those four, there's really a wrong answer there. Yeah. Yeah, Psycho 2 gets so much love, but Psycho 3 is the one from '86. So I've heard, I've only seen the first Psycho. I know all about Psycho 2 because I've watched other people's breakdowns on it and everything like that, and the deep dive, video essays on it and everything. But I've even heard that Psycho 3 and 4 are pretty damn good. That there's not like a terrible movie in that franchise. So, yeah. Tom Matthews was so sweet when I met him. You know, and I've heard both. I'm so curious. I've never met him, so I'm very curious if I ever do get to meet him, you know, what kind of experience I'm going to get. Hopefully it would be a good experience, Jamie, because I think the way that I would like to meet Tom Matthews is through Vincent DeSanti, like, you know, at a con together or something like that, since they've worked together and they have that relationship and Vin and I know each other. It might be, you know, kind of not a cold call, right? All right. Thank you for reminding me, Eli. Let me share that link, guys. I'm going to share that link. You know what? I'm going to pin it in the chat. I should have done that. Eli, thank you so much. Here, let me do the thing. Expanded documentary pre-order. Yeah, guys, if you end up using this link for the pre-order, it really helps the channel. And the people over there at, oh, there it is. The people over there at Creator VC, you know, they did In Search of Darkness, Slasher Trash, all that kind of stuff. This isn't just them grabbing interviews from here or there. This is all brand new interviews. They got Kurt Russell to join in. They got John Carpenter on board, and a 5-hour documentary about the thing. So just really diving into it. The thing is very near and dear to my heart because it was filmed in my hometown of Juneau, Alaska. And it came out my birth year. So I feel this connection. I also just think it's arguably the greatest horror film of all time. So I'm fortunate enough to work with Creator VC on this one. And I've got that affiliate link. So if you want to purchase a copy of the documentary and you use my link, it's really awesome. It's, you know, I get a little 20% commission kind of thing. I just like being upfront about it with you guys. You know, when I'm right out there selling something, I got no shame about just letting you guys know what's up. I'm not going to try to hide it or anything like that or try to be sneaky about it. Oh, and Eli got it saved in there as well, or dropped in there as well. Thank you. Thank you, Eli. Appreciate you, bud. Eli looking out for me even better than I'm looking out for me. What's happening, Todd? Welcome on in, man. Thank you so much for joining us. $1 make you holla. That's right. That is right. Chit chat, patty whack, give a dog a bone, sir. All right. Great needle drops in Manhunter. Ooh, I don't even remember the needle drops, but I do just love the movie. Yeah, Tom Noonan did pass. Unless I totally said his name wrong. Somebody please confirm in the chat that Tom Noonan did in fact pass away. I'm pretty sure that came out a few weeks ago. I think it was. There you go. I said Michael Mann. Yeah. Okay. Friedkin. You're right. You're absolutely right, Todd. Thank you so much. Doesn't it have a Michael Mann kind of feel? Man, Friedkin didn't really like mess around when he directed movies. Thank you. Thank you, Talking Star Wars. Yeah, you guys are right. You guys are right. I don't know why I thought that. I think gritty cop drama. I think Michael Mann. So stupid. Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. The Menu. That's got to be put on the list. There we go. That's got to be on the list. Okay. I see some Big Trouble in Little China talk here. I see stuff about other movies that are very, very recent movies, but we're here to talk about 1986. So guys, forgive me if I don't click on every little thing here. Let's see. What other movie should we talk about next? Well, we talked a little bit about Poltergeist 2. This movie adds a nice little layer of lore, right? You know, you've got the actual, the ghost of the priest that is responsible for, pretty much everything, right? Is he a priest or just a religious leader, kind of like a cult leader, Christian cult leader, that's responsible for everything that happened the destruction of the natives that were basically haunting the grounds from the original film. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what it is. Guys, full disclosure, I've seen Poltergeist 2 The Other Side one time. I did enjoy it. I just haven't revisited it since then. But I really like it. It looks like and it feels like a direct continuation of the first film. And I love that they, just fill in a little bit of that lore. Not necessarily that we needed it, but they do hint at it in the first movie. And I like seeing, without being a prequel, I like how they shed some new light on some of the information there. And yeah, Poltergeist, man, these movies really creeped me out when I was a kid. The whole, like, I think it was from Poltergeist 2, the "they're back," like that whole thing, because I think she says "they're here" in the first one. I just remember that like earworm as a kid, and it just being so haunting, you know, because I think I was born the year the first movie came out. Was the first movie 82? I think so. And then here we go, 80s. I was just a little kid, you know, my family probably rented this on VHS, and I was probably traumatized and don't even remember seeing it or something like that. My parents were really cool. I basically got to watch whatever the family got to watch. You know, they're relatively conservative as far as like, you know, my parents weren't watching anything too crazy. But, you know, they would make me cover my eyes if there was some boobage or anything like that. But yeah, I might have been a little traumatized by Poltergeist and Poltergeist 2. Okay, here we go. Nanette bringing another one that I haven't seen. Nanette, I'm really feeling like a fake horror fan now. You bet. I hope you mention one I've seen next time, Nanette. For my sake, not your sake. It's not a threat to you. It's a threat to my own fragile ego. I have not seen Slaughter High. I see it on the list when I'm looking here, and I'm like, oh, I remember seeing that in the video store when I was a kid. You know, it's one of those the VHS covers that you just, you know, remember seeing. So this one's got Carolyn Monroe. Ooh, I know who she is. She was in not Galaxy of Terror. She's in one of those like sci-fi, cheapy sci-fi movies. She's like a total hottie, isn't she? Yeah, she's got that like Hammer girl kind of look. Oh my God. Yeah, no, she's super hot. Okay, I gotta see this one just for her, pretty much. I mean, really. Oh, she's in Maniac as well. Oh yeah, she's in some Paul Nashy stuff. Okay. No, she's really been out there. Don't Open Till Christmas. Okay. What's the one that I'm really thinking of? It's like Star Crash or something like that. Dracula AD 1972. I know I'm just talking about this actress now, but guys, she is really hot. So anyways, Slaughter High, I have not seen it, Nanette. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna hang my head in shame and walk away from my own stream. I don't know what to do. Yeah, The Fly. Let's move over to The Fly. What's happening, Saigon? Hope you're doing well. Welcome on back, man. I love seeing when people just pop up on maybe some sort of random stream. You know, Scream has been bringing in a lot of people. We had the Stranger Things bump as well earlier this year on the channel. And I love seeing that you guys are coming back because you're still having fun talking about whatever. I love it. Let's see here. What do we got? The Fly. Yes, David Cronenberg's The Fly. Man, this movie is gruesome. This movie is tragic. It's like slow motion car accident. You see it coming from, you know, 2 blocks away, and there's just nothing you can do and no one you can save. And, you know, it's a great kind of tale of, you know, it's a little bit of a lesson on that whole like trying to be God kind of thing. That's a pretty normal theme in sci-fi, right? So, you know, we're going really kind of simple and primal with the themes here, but also at the same time that makes the movie so relatable, right? The thirst for knowledge, the desire to be, you know, kind of like a star. You know, Brundle wants to become a star. You know, he feels like he's going to be the rock star scientist, right? So there's all this ambition and ego and hubris, a little bit of a God complex for sure. This feeling of he feels infallible, you know, like there's no way he's going to mess this up, and just sort of like the follies of man, right? And how it costs him everything, and he literally is turning into a monster, and the last act that he commits is an act of self-sacrifice, because that one little bit of him that's still human can recognize what he's become, and that what he's become is a complete abomination and the antithesis of everything he was trying to create when he launched on his like ambitious journey as a scientist. It is this completely tragic story. Yeah, it's a heartbreaker, man. The 80s were really like, I love that the 80s brought the gloom and doom in the movies. And it's not every 80s movie. You know, there's plenty of like fun loving happy 80s movies. I mean, Big Trouble in Little China is like pretty fun and pretty fun loving. Like there's plenty of that, right? Plenty of zaniness with sex comedies and all that kind of stuff. But you know, there's just really diverse, like these really grim, you know, cautionary kind of tales. And in The Fly's instance, it's also a remake of a classic. You know, Vincent Price, bringing him up for a second time. Vincent Price is getting some play here on this stream. But The Fly by David Cronenberg is a totally different interpretation of that story. It's technically a remake, but it pretty much, just like John Carpenter's The Thing is, yeah, I guess it's like based on the same book that The Thing from Another World was based on, but totally different. Not even really a remake, just literally John Carpenter's The Thing, right? So I feel like Cronenberg's Fly is very much like that. Jeff Goldblum's amazing. Gina Davis is really good. Gina Davis is absolutely beautiful in this movie. And oh my God, the special effects. Holy shit. And I still think it's one of the saddest moments in horror when he takes his little hook, his little fly hook hand, and grabs that, you know, shotgun barrel and puts it like right there. You know, there's something so, it's literally this monstrous puppet that we're looking at, caught on camera. And I can feel the emotion, and I can feel that drop of humanity. Man, it is such a damn good movie. I believe I think Killjoy Jake, it's his favorite scary movie. And I totally get it, man. The Fly is fucking incredible. And I think, you know, definitely one of the crown jewels in 1986's horror you know, list of flicks. Like that is one of the bona fide classics. Like if we're talking classics, we're talking The Fly, Aliens, and I don't even know what else. I would say Jason Lives because I'm selfish. But looking at the rest of the list here, I'm like, it could be Texas Chainsaw 2, probably. But yeah, let me see what you guys are saying about The Fly. See if you guys got anything. I know I just went on this huge soliloquy about it. I know. We got James jumping in, says Hitcher 4K is incredible, dude. And I've not yet seen it yet. I really want to check it out. I think Darren from Only Sans / the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, I could be wrong on this, but I thought that he had some sort of something to do with that, or some sort of in on that. I don't know, because I know that I don't know. I've gathered just from watching stuff. I believe that he does works in editing for I can't remember exactly which big studio it is, but I believe he had worked on 28 Years Later in some regard. So is that Warner Brothers? I'm not sure who that is. I have a tough time keeping all that stuff straight. Anyways, regardless of what it is, I just remember seeing some sort of connection there. I remember seeing some pictures of what the transfer looked like. Obviously the physical media of it all was just absolutely gorgeous. I have to see the Hitcher, the cleaned up version of the Hitcher, because I've only watched it twice, and it was that cruddy 4x3, Yes, Heather O'Rourke from Poltergeist. That was one of the tragedies. Yeah, she had did she have Crohn's disease? Is that what it was? Something else maybe? I don't know. Okay, yes. I was so worried that I was saying the wrong actor's name there. I knew it was the guy that was in those roles. I'm like, oh shit, am I saying the wrong name? Thank you for the backup there on that one, Linda. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Yeah, and unfortunately, Jiggy, I've seen bits of the movie. I can't say with any confidence that I've seen the entire film. So I need to jump. I need to get on that. How about it? Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen part 3. That's Heather O'Rourke's last entry in the franchise, if I'm not mistaken. Jamie saw the first 2 Poltergeist movies at the drive-in and first saw them in the theater. All right. Oh my gosh. The level of braggadociousness, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just joking. I'm joking, Jamie. We love you. All right. What else do we got here? Demons 2, Nanette brings up. So I've seen Demons 1. Eli actually gifted me the first 2 Demons films in a steelbook. I believe it's a steelbook blue. You know, it might be yeah, I think they're Blu-rays. I love the first Demons movie. I have not yet checked out the sequel. That's so stupid. That is so stupid. Guess what? You just made the list. Yeah, I'm going to throw that on the list for the 365 this year because I really like Demons quite a bit. It is, you know, gives me those Evil Dead vibes. You know how I feel about Evil Dead, guys. I mean, I get a little about it. So anything that reminds me of Evil Dead, I'm fucking there for. So let's see here. Guys, if you are, I might miss some chats if they're just way off topic. If you want me to talk about something that's off topic, throw out a super chat and I'll do that. How about that? I think that's a fair deal. I don't put anything behind a paywall, but I want to, for the folks that watch after the fact, and all that kind of stuff, I want this to be about that 1986 horror. Saigon says, is Blue Velvet horror or is that a stretch? David Lynch always has an undercurrent of horror. I think it's definitely within bounds of the conversation that we're having here. Yeah, there's always, David Lynch has, yeah, I feel like I've said it quite a bit tonight, not about David Lynch, but just that feeling of unease that gives a horror vibe for sure. It's like you never know where it could, how it could turn. Even something like Twin Peaks where you're like, oh my gosh, this movie is like part 1950s greaser high school drama. It's part, you know, very serious adult drama with people cheating on their spouses. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, a guy that was possessed and is killing people. And this demon floats from person to person. It's like, whoa. All this stuff is in the same story. And I only described some of the things that are happening in Twin Peaks. So yeah, I mean, it's like there is always this specter of the horror can come, or just something, you know, the creep can come from at any point, and you might not really expect it. And while like I have seen Blue Velvet, I don't remember it necessarily like scaring me or anything, but I did see it on lists of 1986 horror films. It was in there. So I will say that is within bounds. And I thought Jamie was going to be the one to bring it up. But here we go. I think close enough. I guess psychological thriller, I'd say psychological thriller is almost like a mainstream way of saying horror, you know, like certain pockets of society might not like the word horror, but like, hey, Misery's a thriller. Well, Misery's a horror, but okay, if calling it a thriller makes it like easier to swallow for you, then all right, there you go, you can call it a thriller. You know, like I feel like those movies are sort of, they kind of work like that. Like even something like Sinners, I'm like, Sinners is pretty light on the horror. You can call it horror, or you could kind of call it something else if you wanted to, and you know, it found mainstream success, so there you go. The Fly is phenomenal. Oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, The Fly in the theater was unforgettable. That was the other movie I remember my brother coming home from the theater and talking to me and my mom about, and, you know, describing pulling out the fingernails and putting them in jars, and just like describing the, you know, the dream that Gina Davis has about like giving birth to the larva and everything like that. Like, you know, and think about it, like it was 86. So my brother saw it in the theater. I'm in preschool and I'm hearing these things being described, and it's like, and then years later I see the movie. Pretty good descriptions, I would say, based on what I, you know, remembered from those descriptions, and then having seen the film for the first time. Yeah, man, The Fly's so good. It was the 80s, Linda. It was, you let the kids off at the mall, right? And you're just like, go watch 3 movies and leave us alone, please. We have stuff to do at home. No, it's cool. I mean, I think Blue Velvet counts for sure. And guys, I'm not coming down on anyone. This isn't about like, oh my gosh, you can't say that in the chat. It's not that. I want you guys to know that if I miss a chat that's off topic. So yeah, you know, no worries. If you talk amongst yourselves about it or something like that, I might not get to it. So that's all it is. Not trying to be a jerk or anything like that. Okay, I need a drink of water, and let's find another movie to talk about. How about it? Let's see here. I'm just making sure I'm not missing something big here from you guys. Best body horror movie ever. I think I saw it 4 times in the theater. Yeah, I'd love to see it in the theater. Never have, you know, obviously not originally, but not even on a second run. Maybe they'll put it out this year, you know, for the anniversary. Maybe we'll see that in some regard. But yeah, I think it's right up there with body horror. I mean, of course, I always think of like Evil Dead and you know, like George Romero's Day of the Dead, I think is pretty close. I mean, I know it's a zombie movie, but man, the body horror is real in that one for sure. Of course, now The Substance is like kind of in that conversation with how uncomfortable it takes it, how far it takes it. Yeah. Oh, nice. Am I right on? Do you remember anything about that, Jamie? Did he work on that? I don't know if he worked on it or it was just something that his work was, you know, I don't know if he was on the project. And I know Darren occasionally jumps in and checks out the streams. I don't know if he's going to watch this on replay, but hopefully if he does, his eyes didn't completely roll in the back of his head when I started like being really wish-washy about my information on that. So Darren, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I might be completely ignorant. Okay, Slasher Fred says From Beyond. Yes, let's talk about it. Slasher Fred. From Beyond, guys. Stuart Gordon, you know, Jeffrey Combs, and Barbara Crampton. Here's the thing, guys. If you see those 3 movies or those 3 names attached to a movie, you watch that movie. I think Castle Freak is another one that comes to mind. Of course, you've got Reanimator. From Beyond is pretty wild as well. I've only seen it once. I think I just watched it right at the beginning of the year. I was watching like 2 movies a day for a good stretch there. Man, really cool, like kind of creature body horror effects here. You know, another movie that is about, you know, not completely different from The Fly as far as like the overall vibe, but a similar sort of, you know, pursuit of breakthrough science gone hellishly wrong. And yeah, From Beyond is really interesting. It is like you know, almost like a supernatural entity that gets let in through a scientific experiment. You know, almost like a portal has been created and this evil has you know, possessed the man that was working on, you know, opening this portal. And then it's almost like evil kind of spills into some of the other characters as well. Yeah, Ken Foree, I think, is in this one as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, man, this movie, I need to watch it again, clearly, because as I'm trying to like remember specific things, because I've watched like 50 movies this year or something like that, I'm like, oh yeah, I need another watch of From Beyond because I really enjoyed it. I love Stuart Gordon's directing. You know, Jeffrey Combs is just like perfectly over the top for me. Barbara Crampton, I love her as a performer. I think she's good, and she does happen to be like, I think, one of the most, you know, beautiful actresses in horror of all time. Like Barbara Crampton and Judy Aronson from, you know, Friday the 13th, the final chapter. It's like, that's, you know, if I could live in that world, if I could be the meat in that sandwich, I'd die a happy man. How about that? Yeah, From Beyond's a lot of fun. You guys that have been fans for years and seen it multiple times, I'm interested in hearing what you all have to say about From Beyond, because yeah, I'm a total novice. I need to see it again. I did really enjoy it though. Had a blast with this one. And I think, yes, something about the ingenuity in Stuart Gordon's movies, the chances he takes, the use of practical effects, you know, it's just, I love how gross and everything. It's just icky, but fun icky. I like fun icky. Yeah, it's good stuff. Twin Peaks it's wild, man. It's a little bit of everything. And I appreciate that. David Lynch is a little bit of everything. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, guys, that, you know, there is a merch shop. I think there's a link in the description. We have a whole bunch of fun stuff there: mugs, t-shirts, hoodies. We've even got some like yoga pants and shit like that, stickers, magnets, blah blah blah. There's all sorts of fun stuff, and Jamie's got her own line of gear. The I Saw That in the Theater Jamie Hart line. So my mom's got the Jamie Hart mug and the Jamie Hart shirt. I just want to let you know, Jamie, she sports that stuff regularly. Joel from Darkroom Reviews jumped in, and I just totally missed it. What's happening, Joel? Thank you so much for hanging out, man. Really do appreciate you. We've got Chris and Shell Talk Movies. What's happening? Says, hey, Davey, good to see you. Looking forward to hanging out with you on Flet's stream on the weekend. Yes, guys, Kyle Curtis Flet from Another World is having a 1,000 subscriber celebration stream this weekend. So I'll be over there. So keep an eye out. I think it's, well, I don't want to say what day it is. I'm already, my head's spinning just from doing this. But guys, thank you so much for jumping in. There are nights where I'm up until like, I don't even want to say in the morning. And I'm like, oh, sweet, Chris and Shell are streaming right now. So I can jump in and say hi to somebody, to a couple somebodies. Thanks for jumping on in. Appreciate you. Oh, let's see who else we got here. Da, 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 da. And what other movies we're going to be talking about. Yeah, Trick or Treat, Sean brings up. I talked about that one, Nanette, just a little bit. Yeah, that's one I still need to see. I'm kind of scared that one's going to make me feel, really dirty in an uncomfortable way. But I'm sure it's great. It is a horror movie that I know that I have to watch, and I've been putting it off for years because I'm like, can I handle the uncomfortability? Because I've heard I heard it feels very real and very visceral and very uncomfortable. Sean G brings up Trick or Treat, and yeah, we are talking about, of course, 1986 Trick or Treat. This is the rock and roll satanic panic, really fun, not really musical, but it's kind of a rock opera of sorts. I've seen it a couple times, only recently though. We actually covered it on I had a show here for a while, and we might bring it back. It was called Movie Punks with my guy Foz Rotten, and he was a huge Trick or Treat fan. So, and I had never seen it at that point, but we talked about movies that had like a punk rock feel, horror movies for the most part that had a punk rock feel, and Trick or Treat was one that I got in and watched a couple times, and then we had a discussion about it, and it is a really fun movie. I think I prefer Black Roses when it comes to this kind of 80s movie. They are, somewhat similar, not a carbon copy, just somewhat similar. But Trick or Treat's a lot of fun. You got Gene Simmons, with a cameo in here, Ozzy Osbourne cameos as well. And there is just this like fight for your right to party kind of feel, in the whole movie. Very interesting the way that they do the whole like spiritual possession through like a haunted record, like a cursed record. So it's kind of like Cursed Item meets rock opera, horror movie elements for sure in there, and the whole satanic panic vibe. So Trick or Treat is one that I gotta revisit more and become a lot more well versed in. But I did think it was wild when what happens. There's like, it doesn't the ghost at one point like start this couple are like making out or something, and I think the ghost like kills the guy and then starts feeling up the chick or something. It gets wild. Trick or Treat takes some chances for damn sure. Okay, there we go. Sony, that sounds right. And since I have no other information, I'll just be like, that sounds right. But yeah, I could. So maybe I shouldn't have brought anything up if I have no definite information. I just kind of feel like an ass now about it. But hopefully that is unnecessary. Is Life Force, is that 1986? Is it? Did I just miss that totally? I don't see Life Force here for 1986, but I would consider it horror, so maybe it's not on this list and it is a 1986 film. I don't know. I wanted so much more than Life Force. I wasn't like completely disappointed in it, but it was just kind of all over the place and messy, and I don't know what it was. I just didn't really dig it very much for whatever reason. But I don't even know if it's I don't know if it's 1986. Somebody's got to tell me. Somebody's got to tell me. Let's see here. I haven't seen Jacob's Wife. That's the one about she's like a vampire in that one. I've heard really good things about that, Todd. You might have been the one to bring it up in a previous stream, because I think I've heard or has been recommended to me in a stream before, for sure. Let's see here. What else do we got? Yeah, love Chopping Mall. Somebody else had I think Antonis, did you ask about it previously, Antonis? I love Chopping Mall. So much fun. It's so quick. What is it, like 86 minutes maybe? Barbara Crampton's boobs, other boobs as well. So, a lot of it works for me there. And just really fun and silly, a popcorn movie. Like Chopping Mall is just a total check your brain at the door and have fun. It doesn't insult you with how dumb it is or anything like that, but it really is a movie that's just supposed to be like a super fun like date movie kind of thing. You got Dick Miller in there as well, classic Roger Corman, staple, and of course in everyone else's movies that had worked with Corman before. So I can't even remember who directed Chopping Mall off the top of my head, if it's somebody that is a name that I definitely should know, but you got all sorts of interesting little cameos in there. I know Angus Scrimm, who is the tall man in the Phantasm movies, is blink and you miss him kind of thing when they're doing their whole presentation on the on the mall robots and everything like that. But Chopping Mall is really fun. It is such an easy watch. I'm trying to think, like Chopping Mall and like Night of the Comet, like a good little 1-2 punch. They both got that isolationist mall kind of thing going on. They're right around the same year. I think Night of the Comet's probably a little bit older. But yeah, there's just something. It's just got this something about those 80s horror movies where it didn't have to be taken seriously. It didn't have to be high art. It could just be really fun and just a break from everything. So yeah, I really dig Chopping Mall. I think The Wraith is really good too. There are some pretty hardcore kills there. And I think it was filmed not too far from where I live. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere out here in Arizona. It might be closer to the Sedona area. So it might be a couple hours north of where I live. I could be wrong on that. They could have done it in Tucson and I could just be all twisted around on it. But yeah, The Wraith, if you guys haven't watched it, it's got sci-fi elements and supernatural elements that go into that sci-fi thing, but there's definitely a horror vibe. It is on the Wikipedia list of horror movies from 86, and I think that is because of the kills, because they get pretty brutal, those kills, for sure. I guess it just depends, Nanette. I'm just trying to keep it focused just for the people that watch after the fact. I want them to be able to enjoy the stream and enjoy the topic at hand. Yeah. Antonis Andriotis, there he is. He did ask about Chopping Mall, and then he was like, dude, I'm tapping my foot over here, Davey, because you didn't talk about Chopping Mall yet. And then he drops a $4.99 super chat to ask, have you seen Chopping Mall? It is from 1986. Yes. And Antonis, I want you to know, thank you so much for the $4.99, by the way. Really do appreciate it. I want you to know that we did a watch party of Chopping Mall too. And it was Chopping Mall TOO. There's not a movie called Chopping Mall 2. We did a watch party, 2 years ago, something like that. So, if you ever want to get that might have been the first time I watched the movie, or it might have been the second time, something like that. So if you want to get kind of my fresh thoughts and you've got a copy that you can put in, you can jump over and check out that watch party and, kind of get my reaction and my thoughts on things real time. And I've never seen Spookies either, right? I don't think I have. Let me look it up just to make sure. Spookies. All right. What is Spookies? The sequel to Ghoulies? No, I don't think I've seen this. 3 directors? Wait. So it's not an anthology? Interesting. 3 directors and it's not an anthology. That's wild. I don't think I recognize these people. Let me see if I recognize any of the names. Sorry guys, I'm just Now I'm curious because I did see it pop up on some lists and I've never seen it. And you guys are throwing it out there and throwing out those recommends. So very, very curious on Spookies now. I need to know more about Spookies, guys. Tell me about Spookies. Trick or Treat is a movie about a band that is told they cannot perform. And so the lead singer dies, comes back, and he's in a record. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. You're just separated. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally two different movies. Yeah. Night of the Comet's pretty fun. Yeah. Oh, Lords of Salem got the idea for the haunted record from Trick or Treat. And I've never seen Lords of Salem. Are any of those, are they good? Like that one? And what's the other one? 31, I think? I haven't seen those. I have not seen those. Let me catch up with you guys. Sherilyn Fenn is a sweetheart. Love the Wraith. Yes, she's in there as well. Yeah. And every time I hear her name, and I know I've mentioned this more than once on a stream, it always makes me think of this Lagwagon song. I'm trying to think of the name of the song because the chorus, he's talking about growing a beard of shame because a girl broke up with him. So that's even though like he uses that in the chorus, but that's not the name of the song. It's not called Beard of Shame. That would be fucking funny if it were. But he has a line that's like, I heard it said she looks a lot like Sherilyn Fenn, and sometimes I'm mistaken for Billy Gibbons. Look like a wise man, but I'm an idiot. Yeah, there you go. I don't really do a good impression of Joey Cape, just so you know. It's over, she left me, and she will soon forget me. She found out I was lame, I grew a beard of shame. It's great. Oh, it's great. They work in Come All Ye Faithful for no reason in that song. It's amazing. It's amazing. Hoss by Lagwagon. That's a damn good one. Double Platinum. I like that one as well. Let's talk about feelings. Don't mind if I do. And if you're more of a metal fan, maybe you check out Trashed. You just might like it. That's the Davey Deathray punk recommendation you certainly didn't ask for of the stream right there. Let's see here. What do we got? Davey, do you know how brutal the movie of Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile is? Because Henry is worse than that movie. I've heard something. I've heard of that movie. I have no frame of reference though for what it really is. Sean G says Witchboard was this absolutely huge in Saskatchewan. Is that Saskatchewan? Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I like that you call it that, Saskatchewan. Witchboard, I just watched that for the first time like in October last year. And I thought it was going to be like so corny or whatever. And man, I was like totally pulled in by the charm of that movie. It is wacky and it has its moments of silliness and everything, but I like the journey that the characters went on, oddly enough. You know, this low budget Ouija board movie, pretty much. And I was like, I thought it was going to be and then halfway through I was actually invested in the characters, and I quite enjoyed that movie for not expecting too much. I'm not trying to like overplay it or anything. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would based on how I felt at the beginning. All right, here we go. Well, you know, here's what I'll tell you, Nanette. Like, I will watch Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. I don't think it's going to be out of bounds for me. I mean, I've watched the Terrifier movies. It's not like, I don't know. It's like I know that I got to do it, and I just keep on putting off doing it. There are certain movies I probably won't watch. Like, don't count on me watching something like a Serbian film. You know, like everything I've heard about that movie, I have zero interest. And then I have zero interest in those, you know, the horror grimy movies that have no narrative, and it's just about the exploitation and, you know, that kind of like, I'm just, you know, certain things I'm not into. I like narrative. I like stories. So, you know, and that's like, even though I've watched the Terrifier movies, I'm like, not much of a story there. Very little story for 3 movies. I guess I'll say that. I think he's like a Christian activist on a talk show. I think it's something like that. Like it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing where they're talking about like how bad rock music is. And I think he's like attacking rock music. Eli, we talked about it. Because Nanette asked me about Demons 2, and I was like, I haven't seen Demons 2 yet, and I don't know why. I was like, Eli sent me those movies, and I love the first Demons. Why haven't I watched the second Demons? Why the hell not? Well, check it out. 40th anniversary. Perfect year to watch it for the very first time and talk about it. Yeah, it was all meant to be. It was all meant to be. There we go. Okay, let me see. That's what I hear, Todd. And that's, you know, like even a movie like Vacancy with Luke Wilson and all that, like that feels like that to me felt pretty real and uncomfortable. And hey, shout out to Ethan Embry. That was him playing a villain before possibly playing a villain very recently. Yeah, I didn't get into the torture stuff. Yeah. I mean, some of those movies still have stories. You know, the first couple Saw movies, there is some story there. If that's all it is, though, nah. Like, there's a big difference between the level of gore in something like Evil Dead, and then something that does the torture, kind of, you know, torture stuff. At least to me, it feels a lot different. Okay, let's see what else we got. I feel my voice getting tired, guys, and I worry. We are approaching 2 hours, though. Here in less than 15 minutes, it'll be 2 hours. So maybe we'll just talk about one more, and then I can have a good, you know, goodbye. Maybe we can do a part 2 if you guys are not satisfied. I feel like we got pretty much all of these. Oddly enough, we talked about Aliens a little bit, but I didn't bring it up here on the, you know, on the marquee. But man, I know we're going to be talking about and celebrating this movie later on this year. But I mean, what can you say? It's a sequel that does something different than the original. I think James Cameron really handles the intellectual property well here and expands on the lore very well and gave fans something that was exciting and different and very much of the time. And I don't prefer it to the original, but I think it's really damn close. And I think Aliens is it's one of the greats. It's like a crown jewel right there of 1986. Guys, I do got to talk about Little Shop of Horrors. I fell in love with this movie when I was like 7 or 8 years old, probably. I've been a big music fan my whole life. Music is my first love. So if you're new to the channel, I want you to know that. If you've been around and you haven't heard me say that, like, music is the big love for me. I absolutely adore movies. I talk about movies on YouTube because it's a lot easier to discuss movies and talk about movies than it is to discuss and talk about music, especially since a lot of the music I like isn't necessarily as popular as the movies I like. Although I do feel that being a punk rock fan and being a horror fan have some pretty big similarities. You're a little bit on the fringes of, you know, artistic fandom or that part of society or whatever. So anyways, Little Shop of Horrors. Man, the music really got me as a kid. I used to live, like, this was in my Walkman, like glued in my Walkman when I was like in 3rd grade. And anytime we went on a road trip, I was listening to Little Shop. You know, that was pretty much it. I was watching the movies. I got in trouble in 3rd grade because in my art class, we had to draw a plant, and I drew Audrey 2, and my teacher wouldn't give me any credit for it because it wasn't an actual plant. And I was like, well, you said draw a plant, and I drew a plant. I didn't know I had to draw like a real plant. I'm sorry that I have a creative mind. I just think she didn't like boys. Like, sometimes I get that vibe from teachers that, like, okay, enough men have broken your hearts that now whenever you look at your male students, you just see like the jerk that you dated that didn't treat you right. Anyways, that's a total tangent. I don't want to get in trouble. But Little Shop, so much fun. Frank Oz direction is incredible. The puppetry work is, you know, nothing short of what you would expect from a movie directed by Frank Oz. I mean, the guy like made his, you know, cut his teeth on puppetry, and that's like pretty much what he's known for, right? Is the work he did with Jim Henson. But when you look at a movie like Little Shop, I think what's so beautiful about it is they built these stages on sound, or, you know, the studios on sound stages pretty much, but they make it look like a stage play. They have all of this practical rear projecting work that's like it's in camera work, and different one of my like models that are placed, you know, back, and just very like layered kind of sets and a look that feels like you're watching a stage play, but it's like halfway to being a movie. And I love that. Like there's these huge camera movements, you know, from one part of the city, like, you know, all the way to the other side. And in these, you know, sweeping camera movements where we go from one song to another without a cut, without an edit. Like I love that Frank Oz was like, I want it to feel like a stage play as close as I can while still being a film. And I think that's a really interesting way of bringing a stage play to life on film, is to try to retain some of what makes it so special in the theater. And yeah, I mean, the music's incredible. Rick Moranis is so charming and he's got a beautiful voice. Steve Martin's hilarious. It's a great, to me, Little Shop is a great story about the American dream gone awry. That's what I think the heart of the story is, like, really is. I felt that way about this story since I don't know, for most of my life. It's the American dream gone bad, you know? And God, I love Little Shop. I'm a huge fan of soul music, and yeah, I've been fortunate enough to see this. I actually saw it in my hometown when I was growing up in Little Juneau, Alaska, and it was a really great little production of Little Shop. Had a lot of fun. Loved the Head of the Class episode where they do Little Shop on the show. I thought that was really cool. That was probably timed out right around the time that Little Shop of Horrors came out. But yeah, I wanted to make sure to at least talk about that. And I think out of all that's like, I was able to talk about my musts on this list. I don't know if you guys got all the talk you wanted out of it. Critters is a lot of fun. That's from 1986. The first like 3 Critters movies are pretty fun. And I would say the first 2 especially, very charming. Like if you like, I don't know what happened there. If you like stuff like, you know, that first Leprechaun and all that, just sort of tongue in cheek, or if you like 50s, 60s sci-fi, like Burt I. Gordon or Roger Corman films and stuff like that, then you're probably going to have a lot of fun with something like Critters. Written, technically, they started writing it before Gremlins, and then Gremlins got picked up, and they're like, oh my God, like, we got to move with this thing. So it is seen as sort of a Gremlins copy, but I think it was more of like the success of Gremlins kind of opened up the door for them to actually do this when the idea was there, like right around the same time. I don't know why the Critters, it had a timer on it. StreamYard does this weird thing where they set timers arbitrarily on some of these banners. Anyways, I don't know why they do that, and I refuse to understand why. How about that? Okay, guys. An hour and 53 minutes of pretty much talking straight. It's crazy. It's crazy. Wait, who am I giving a kiss to? Who gave me a kiss? What happened? Russ? What happened? Let's see here. You went over my helmet? Can't wait to celebrate that one's 40th anniversary, which I think is coming up here in, what is it, 88 when Spaceballs came out? 89 maybe? I don't know. Oh my God, yeah. That, oh dude, look, I'm gonna have to listen to that soundtrack. I have the soundtrack on vinyl. I'm a big vinyl collector, and that's like, I just had to have that one. Guys, soul music, I don't know what it is, but it is those really cool, like, chopped up beats. I love working class people's music. You know, punk rock, I feel like, is working class people's music. Obviously, soul is working class people's music, regardless of, you know, the skin color and everything. There's a reason why it resonated with so many people, because it's just got that, it's just got that hardworking kind of vibe. I love that about soul music. And I think it's a really cool, like, not every play picks a style of music. There's just sort of like musical kind of music. It's just that vibe of musical theater, you know? And of course there are absolutely plays that are like rock and roll plays and stuff like that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I really love that we get so many different flavors of like soul and even some island kind of vibes too in in Little Shop. Yeah. Love the heartbreak and everything. I love Little Shop so much. I could sit here and I wanted my high school so badly to do Little Shop when I was there. They didn't do it in my time, you know, only 4 years, because I was like, I will be Seymour, or I will do whatever it takes. You know what I mean? Because I'm a horror fan. Do whatever it takes to get that role. Not like a gross thing. I'm talking like kill somebody, not like S somebody's D, but just kill somebody. I know neither one sounds great, but the one sounds more acceptable, at least in my brain. Still have the Little Shop soundtrack. Yeah, I had it on CD at one point, but cassette originally. I don't own any of that. You know, that stuff's all gone now, but I've got the vinyl. Yeah. 87. Okay, next year we'll be able to celebrate 40 years of that. Yeah. I love The Commitments. Yes. Yeah, that's one of my favorite, movie about a fictitious band, but it's like better than an actual biopic of a band. Yeah, The Commitments are great. They do really cool versions of those soul songs. And I know a couple of those girls were in the Corrs, right? So real actual musicians there, doing it. Have a great night, Eli. Yeah, we're going to wrap things up here very soon as well. Thank you so much for showing up and throwing out the links and doing your due, my bud. Demons 2 this year. It's happening. I'm going to look up the release and we'll put together something fun for that one. I know that I've got a movie to watch after this. At least I know that. Let's see here. Your teacher should have dressed like Charlton Heston. What's happening? What's happening, Brad? Hope you're doing well, man. Oh my God, I'm dressed up like Charlton Heston. Let's see here. Dude, if you're talking about my art teacher that didn't like the Audrey 2 drawing, she was pretty bad. Yeah, my mom and her, got into it on the phone, that's for sure. Sean says, it sounds like we had a very similar childhood, Jamie. I saw everything in the theater 2 or 3 times. There you go. It was, just say it was autocorrect. There you go. Okay, guys, here we are, hour 57. It feels like the conversation has been naturally coming to a close. We talked a lot about, a lot of great horror movies from 1986, but man, there's so much more. I'm looking at this Wikipedia page and I'm just going to name off some more. So if there's some that you want me to talk about more, maybe we can do a part 2. I don't know. Jump into the comments and let me know what you guys want to see from this one. But April Fool's Day, Class of Nukem High. What else do we have? We have Haunted Honeymoon, House. We didn't get to talk about House, directed by Steve Miner. Killer Workout. It's got to be pretty awesome. And it looks like Night of the Creeps. We should have talked about Night of the Creeps more. We talked about it a little bit, but really we didn't get to dive into that one. Rawhead Rex is another one. Sorority House Massacre. Terror Vision. I think Slasher Fred brought that one up. Directed by Ted Nicolau, who directed those Subspecies movies. I actually quite enjoyed the first few Subspecies movies. So yeah, Terror Vision. We could talk about that one. And it looks like Zombie Nightmare. That was on Mystery Science Theater 3000. So I think it'd be fun to kind of talk some shit about Zombie Nightmare. Definitely a rock and roll movie. Pretty fun. But yeah, guys, this was a lot of fun chit-chatting with you guys here. Leo, I have not seen April Fool's Day yet, but it's one of those movies like I know, it's got Tom Wilson, and it's got Amy Steele is in that one too, right? So yeah, that's another one I need to see, guys. So on the plus or on the negative side, it's whenever I'm like, I have all these blind spots. On the plus side, I'm like, there is so much more for me to enjoy. There's so many movies that people just absolutely love, and I will get to share in that joy. And all you can really do when you haven't seen a movie and haven't seen a bunch of movies is just chip away at that list one by one. So really quick before we head out, thank you so much to all the Patreon members, all the YouTube channel members, our Death Squad mods. You guys are friggin' awesome. We got, I'm just going to roll through the super chats because you guys are amazing. A $5 from Jigsaw, $2 from Nanette, $4.99 from Lizzie, a $5 from Sean. We got a $2 from Jigsaw, another $2 from Nanette, a $5 from Jigsaw, another $2 from Nanette. Antonis dropping a $5 right there. Lizzie with another $4.99. Nanette with another $2. Jigsaw with another $5. Linda with a $1.99. Jigsaw gifted a membership, and I believe that one was given to Melissa Wildcard. There we go. I'm like, come on, dude, think of it. And Antonis Andriotis sending in a 499er as well. Holy cow, guys. The amount of support is so gracious and so sweet. I certainly don't ever expect that, but it's amazing. Not only do I get to walk away from the stream having had an awesome time with you guys, but to know that you guys are helping make this dream come true. It's incredible. Thank you all so very much. I love you guys. We will be back sometime later on this week. I owe you guys a bonus late night because you reached the super chat goal from last night. So I'm going to make good on that this week. That might be super late tomorrow night, something like that. Or I might go super late on the weekend. Maybe on the weekend. Let's save it for the weekend. Let's get a rowdy crowd up in here on the weekend. How about it? Nanette is dropping a membership chat. She's been a member for 7 months. It says, thank you. Thank you all. You'll help me to not feel so bad today. And I really appreciate it. Well, that's very sweet, Nanette. I hope that, yeah, anytime we come together and we get to talk about movies and just hang out with each other, it's a break from all the other stuff going on, right? So, and we all have other stuff going on, and we've got no one is without their struggles. Some of us might share similar struggles, some of us might not, but everyone's got them. And it's really great to come hang out with friends and just put that stuff on the shelf for a little bit. So thank you so much, Nanette. You know, for me, it certainly is a break from the stuff that bugs me on the daily. So I'm right there with you. To me, I feel like there's something so therapeutic about jumping on here on YouTube and hanging out with you guys. So thank you for all that you do for each other in the community, for being so welcoming to the new people. I don't even know what to say. Like I said, I'm so beside myself that the support for the community keeps on growing. I feel like we're in a really nice, momentous spot. We've got some great momentum going, so let's just keep it rolling. I'll be live this weekend. I'm going to do another stream midday on Saturday that'll be like a late night for the UK crowd because I love doing that last weekend, so we're going to have fun with that. And then, yeah, this weekend, guys, I'm going to go live. It'll probably be like a midnight East Coast kind of thing this weekend. So keep an eye out. That's going to wrap it up for this one. I had an awesome time talking about 1986 horror films and celebrating that 40th anniversary. There's so much to be thankful for from 86, and can't wait to do some watch parties and dive deeper into some of these movies as the year goes on. So yeah, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this one. You are all so beautiful. I appreciate every single one of you so much. And until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.